Lesson 2, Meeting Your Inner Landscape. In our last lesson, you began softening, opening to the idea that there is an inner world within you, a real living place that exists beneath the conscious mind, a space of reflection, exploration, vision, light, connection. I want to teach you how your inner world speaks. Because when you understand the language of your inner landscape, everything in this journey becomes easier, gentler, more familiar, and filled with so much more curiosity. There is a world behind your outer life that reflects your emotional, spiritual, and energetic reality. And in this work that I offer, this is the terrain of your heart center. It's not a place that's made up, it's not pretend, and it's not something you try to create. It already exists in you. It is a tool and a practice and a way of connecting to the unseen that exists in all of us. Now, your inner landscape might appear through very vivid imagery. It may also appear through sensations that you're either feeling inside of your vision or in your physical body in the 3D realm. It might appear through color, texture, energy, emotion, either that you're seeing yourself or parts of you experience in the other realm, or emotion in your body here. You might also see symbols that somehow awaken you to an inner knowing. Symbols that you've seen in other places, on other journeys, symbols that might be calling you from the future, not only the past. Some people see this landscape very visually, but it's really important for me to reiterate that this is also a somatic, intuitive experience, and it will shift your energy, your mood. You'll go in one space and you will most likely come out in another. Now, this doesn't mean that we're going in feeling negatively and coming out feeling positively. That's not what this work is. You're going to hear me say this often. You're becoming a walker between the worlds. We don't use this practice to bypass our human experience. We're using it to connect to our spiritual experience and connection to support it. So, however it shows up for you when you begin going within with me with the guided journeys, it's all visioning and it's all valid and perfect just as it's meant to be for you. So when it comes to the things that you're going to be seeing, there is this symbolic language that your heart is going to begin speaking to you with. Now, when we enter into a landscape because the elemental world, the earth mother, the world that we know today is a place that we can connect to. So when we step out into a desert or a clearing in the forest, a mountain or a cave, wherever I'm guiding you is where Spirit has shown me where we are going to go. Because all of the journeys you will find here inside of the course and that I've recorded on Insight Timer are all channeled. They're not pre-written. So I trust as we're in this container together, as I'm inviting you into this world, that whatever I'm being shown is what Spirit is asking me to show you. And when you're new to this work, it's so orienting when I say, step out into a field. Step out into a forest. Step out onto the sand. What it does is it gives you a place to go, a place to focus on, connect to, and ground into. And when people first start visioning with me, they love all of the detail because I'm giving them a space for them to trust already. As soon as I ask you, call on a helping animal. What tree do you see in front of you? The thinking mind is going to want to get in the way, and that's fine. We're inviting the thinking mind here. But your heart has something that it wants to see. And so my prompts and what I'm asking you to see, they're going to land with you and you'll want to stay there. Or your inner world's going to speak to you another way. And you might see yourself on a different planet, sitting in front of a cosmic ocean that's glowing with pink light. The landscapes that arise all have meaning for you, and not always in a literal way. And right now we're being very literal and linear because I want to teach you about this practice. But when you're going into it, it's where you're going to get to trust your intuition when you come out on the other side. But practically and symbolically, a lot of these landscapes are elemental, and so they have elemental meanings that throughout different spiritual, shamanic traditions, certain elements can often mean very similar things. So for instance, a forest might represent the element of earth, grounding, growth, protection. The desert might reflect more simplicity, clarity, removing things you can see from a higher point of view. Heat, fire, element, transformation. The ocean might reflect a more emotional experience, being in the flow, surrender. Light might reflect truth, spiritual connection. Dark might reflect unknown, great mystery, the shadow self. Your inner world is going to express this truth to you symbolically in ways that you already understand and that you've learned or that you've experienced. Because if you've ever stood on top of a mountain, there's a feeling in your body that your body remembers. If you've ever really felt the wind on your face, there's a feeling in your body that your body remembers. And when you visually go there and you see it, your body has a visceral experience. It remembers. Now, another powerful medicine messenger that lives in our outer world are animals. And we find them very often inside of our visions, especially inside of the meditations that you journey with me. Almost always, an animal comes to meet us in these landscapes. The animal is a soft, gentle landing that our psyche, our mind, feels trusting often for these animals, and our body can start to come into a place of relaxation and safety. A lot of times animals that show up are either favorite ones you've always felt connected to. Sometimes it's your pet that has passed away. It is this beautiful, soft landing for trusting the joy that comes into your heart, the safety that you feel in your body when you call on an animal to meet you. I'm always going to invite you to be your own interpreter and oracle, but something that is really helpful is when you look up the meanings of the animal after you journey. And we'll talk about post-journeying and how you can dive deeper. But when you're in the journey, really spend some time feeling in to this animal and the energy and how they show up, if it's playful, if it's more serious. The wolf can often show up a lot and represents protection. The coyote is the trickster. Each animal has a meaning, and it's typically based on how they interact with the world. Deers often represent a gentleness, a sensitivity, the mother. An owl can represent hidden knowledge or deeper wisdom. In my opinion, there isn't one meaning. It is whatever the felt sense is for you, for us, when we journey. How did this animal feel to me? What did its presence invoke in me? Your body feels that. You don't have to answer the question. You can, if you find this to be a more challenging process, ask more questions afterwards, but also remember that you're here to receive. Now, other ways that we vision is by asking for presences or figures to come in the form of a guide. And this might be an inner guide, like the higher self. It might be a part of yourself. So if we're ever working with fear, we might ask, what part of me is afraid? And take a deep breath. Inhale, think about it, exhale, and send that part out of your body. Sometimes those parts of us that are afraid are our inner children, past selves that are clamoring to protect us. Sometimes it's an ancestor, it's somebody who's passed, and we can feel deeply connected. The first time I connected to a compassionate observer, I needed a compassionate guide to help me because I couldn't be compassionate with myself. My grandmother showed up. My brain, my psyche, my body could feel compassion in her presence when I couldn't invoke compassion on my own yet. So these guides can be symbolic figures, or you can feel into them as guides that really meet you. For me, at this stage of my practice, any guide that comes that is not a part of me or an archetype, I consider to be a living spirit guide that I work with, commune with, and stay in relationship to and call upon for certain things. And they often show up in certain places, in certain landscapes, based on whatever it is I'm moving through. They are way showers. They are keepers of wisdom that maybe we don't feel we can access on our own. And they are a very powerful part of the process of going within and using your inner vision to speak to you. Because while you're learning this in the container of guided meditations, the goal is to get to a place that with eyes opened or closed, you can invite your intuitive wisdom through your sight, through connecting, seeing your animal, seeing that tree, seeing the forest. That you're going to be able to integrate this in the day-to-day and drop into it very quickly. And the more imagery you experience when you practice these longer journeys with me, every meditation I have on Insight Timer is a visioning journey for the most part. So that brings us to symbols and objects. There is a meditation I have called Spell on the Mountain, and it's a very popular meditation where you go into a cave and you meet a guide that is there to help you create a spell of manifestation. And on the walls, you see all of these things that feel magical and important to you. And I'll often guide, like maybe you see a jar of feathers or stones or some cosmic light. What do you see? You start to allow yourself to really take your inner desire of your heart and paint it outside of you through your vision through these symbols and objects. These symbols and objects, you might later go back and want to kind of figure out what is that meaning. And you can dig in deeper, but in the moment, it's what you wanted to see, and that's okay. That's the desire of your heart. Now, colors and light. Color is one of the simplest ways that the inner world can speak. And different colors might represent different things, and it's for you to decide and discover, but also think about nature. Think about the world outside of us. Blue might reflect calm, truth, clarity. Green might reflect earth, healing, heart energy. Gold might reflect a spiritual connection or guidance. Darkness might reflect danger or shadow, but darkness is also the great mystery. It's potential, it's the unknown, it's the moon, it's the nighttime. So the light might shift, the color may glow, and the shadows might move. I want you to invite yourself to receive it and experience it as being intentional, that it isn't random, that all of it is a communication from your heart and your spirit to you. And so in the moment, let yourself notice without deciding what it means. But if an intuitive thought comes up or process for you, just hold that and allow it. Now, here's the most important thing, is that when you're practicing being the witness and you're practicing going in for self-trust, using your vision, connecting to your heart center in this way, your ego mind is going to ask, am I making this up? Is this real? Why am I seeing this? Do I want to see it? I don't understand. This is hard. I'm not dropped in. Okay, it's going to talk to you. Sometimes it will. This is normal. The mind wants predictability. The mind wants to control. This practice is like working a muscle. You might be somebody who drops deeply in. If not, please don't give up on yourself. Please be patient, receive, invite those questions into your journey. Because the heart communicates through intuition, not logic. And when your brain's pulling you out, one thing you can do is invite that in. Am I making this up? Show me something. You can ask, show me something. Show me, heart. How would I ask this question? How would I see this question? What am I aching for? Show me. What am I afraid of? Show me. Allow yourself to experience everything, okay? A lot of times when we're learning to meditate, we have all these expectations of ourselves and how it should be. Just allow yourself to receive. This is a spiritual experience. This is a spiritual container and a spiritual practice that I'm sharing with you. You're going to have an opportunity later to process with the mind. Through art, through journaling, we do bring it back to the conscious mind. We help our mind shift its perception. So, remember, you are the oracle, and what you're doing here is allowing your own intuition to interpret your experience. And what this really is for you is you're reclaiming your ability to be the creator of your reality in your waking world. Let me say that again. You're reclaiming your ability to be the creator of your reality in your waking world. Your perception, the story you tell yourself, creates your reality. And in the Toltec path, we say you are the artist of your own life. And up until now, you might have been living at the whim of story, of beliefs and agreements that don't feel in alignment, living from fear, scarcity, anxiety. We're not trying to get rid of those things. But when we connect to the heart center in this way, we're giving our soul a voice so it can stand alongside the voice of our humanity. So when you come into this work from a place of love and curiosity for yourself, then this is where your mind will start to actually enjoy the reprieve, because your mind is also curious about the unseen. Your mind is also curious about if there is more. So your next lesson is an embodied practice. I'm going to take you on a journey to your great within. We're going to connect you to your body, to your heart center as a portal, and create a landing space. Think of this as your waiting room. So we're going deeper beyond the veil. We're going from head into heart, and then we're going to go into this beautiful waiting room in the other realm. And it's in that place, from that place, that you can continue to walk and explore. It's in that space that will be a place that feels like home, that you can return to time and time again. And entering, I always have us slide our hand across the veil and step out right into the clearing, right into the forest, right into the beginning of where we begin. And usually, as I mentioned, these are all going to be channeled, so I haven't recorded it yet. But typically, the forest is where we do begin. Because I think for me, what I receive, it is the earth, the soil, the way that I see everything growing up from it feels like the beginning. It feels like everything could belong here in that landscape. So trust where the visions take you. Move into your heart space. There won't be a lot of talking or processing. And you're going to enter into your journey in the next lesson. And from there, we will allow your heart to unfold. See you soon.